We're with Bob Rosen, a member of the class of 2026, the Greater Buffalo Sports Hall of Fame. We had the press event. It's got to be almost 8 weeks ago now. You look back and just that moment alone, talk about that and what that meant to you and your family. They were all there with you.
It was a pretty humbling experience to be there and be part of it. I've watched on TV when it first started and seen and followed along all through the years, and knowing people on the committee and having friends go in. It's pretty awesome to be able to experience this.
And that's just a small part of it. Now, looking ahead to September and what's on your mind now thinking about the induction dinner?
Just trying to get everything ready that you have to have, and really looking forward to the night. Just really excited, and then we'll be here before you know it, because it doesn't seem 8 weeks ago. When we last met. So
it sneaks. We're probably about 8 weeks now, and by the time we show this, it'll be 6 weeks or something. So So your background, hockey kid, right? You played growing up your whole life, and started what, 5, 6, 7 years old?
Started at Lincoln Arena, and then we moved to Williamsville and played in the town of Amherst. Played for the travel teams, and then played for the Junior Sabres when back in the 78, 79, and went to Canton College for a year and won a national championship with that team, and then went on to Canisius.
Right.
Played there and coached there,
and then transitioned to coaching there, and then you coached at Amherst first or North first?
I was coaching at North or at Amherst,
junior level,
the junior team. I was looking for extra ice, and Heinz Mayer was the coach of the junior team, and I said, "You mind if I come out to practice and get some ice before Canisius started?" He goes, "Oh yeah." Well, I ran practice. He never came out on the ice, and that was a Tuesday night. And I said, "Can I come back Thursday night?" He goes, "Yeah, but just have a few more drills." So I started coaching and coached there for a bunch of years, and then when I graduated from Canisius, started coaching at Canisius with Brian Kavanaugh and Carl Keppel, and that was a great experience. And then had an opportunity to coach at North, and I thought I would do that.
Thought you'd do it for a couple of years, right?
Well, I turned down a college head coaching job because I had my business and wasn't sure I wanted to move and give that all up. And when they finally came up with the salary, my wife made that decision and said, "Please tell me you're not thinking of taking this." So, and then thought I would get back into college coaching, and 37 years later, I'm still at North, and it's been great.
And 37 years is quite an accomplishment, which is why we're here talking. Right?
Yeah.
And you've worked with how many students over the course of 37 years? Could you guess?
Probably
800. 800 total.
25 a year, and keeping some. So
that's and you hear from a lot of them.
I do, and that's one of the great benefits of coaching. You get to see kids. I mean, there's kids that I coached at Canisius College who are now 60 years old, and you see that transition of them live their life and go through, and
professional,
when you have a kid at 18, they look one way, and then when you see them in their 50s, I may need them to remember you, but I'll remember once they say the name. Then it's easy, but
it jumps back in. And that's and I don't know that we don't have to go too far into this, but that's one of the beauties of sports. Right? We get lost in the drills and the games and the wins and losses and goals and assists and all that other stuff. But watching young men and women develop into adults and then adulthood, and a lot of times for you become friends, not just a coach-player thing. And you've probably been to weddings for some of your players and funerals probably and all that stuff. But and the life side of sports. And talk a little bit about it's not why you got into it, certainly, right? Because you wanted to coach hockey. But as you look back, how important has the life side of it been for you?
the friendships was always a key. What I loved about playing was hanging out in the locker room afterwards and doing that, and having assistant coaches that you want to be around. Your brother being one. I mean, we're at Canisius College together,
Right.
and then he ended up coming, and having those lifelong friendships is something that we tried to promote, because I always thought that was important.
Right.
My best friends to this day are kids that I grew up playing hockey with.
Sure. Right.
And that's always been a major point of emphasis for myself, my assistant coaches. Those are the bonds that carry you through your life.
Yeah. And you forget the hockey part of it, right?
Yeah.
You know, you remember games, you remember some stuff, but that's not that. It's the people.
It's the kids and seeing them and seeing how they develop, and is probably the most rewarding thing, more than the wins and more than everything else.
Yeah, I teach sports in college at Niagara University, and I'll ask every year. I ask in a number of my classes, you all played, like they all played something,
right?
And what's your favorite memory? And usually it's the friends and the ice cream and the whatever. And there's the guys, the men and women playing Division I, so they've won championships. They know they've played at a high level, but it's the other stuff that they always remember looking back, and that's where sports really can make an impact.
And looking back on teams and kids who are still friends in their 40s and 50s that they were friends with playing.
Yeah, right.
And seeing them now as adults with kids and
their kids are playing.
Yeah. And you see at the rink, you see the transition of kids you've coached, now they're kids, and I've coached long enough now that I have kids of people I've coached,
right?
Which makes you feel
a
little old.
So let's talk a little bit about the hockey side of it, though. For you, you don't think of it, and you're not the kind of guy that would think of it in the middle of it. But 570 some wins, like that's amazing. Like, and you don't think of it as there's another one, right? I'm sure you're not going home I don't think you're going home every night. No. Honey, guess what? I got another one tonight.
Yeah.
But looking back, like, can you enjoy that? Like, you're still in the middle of it. You're still coaching, but at some point you'll retire from it and look back and think, I did all this. That's pretty neat. Yeah. But can you do it now at all? Can you reflect on it?
You basically move from the end of the season to next year, planning and talking about it, what you're doing, how to get that team prepared.
Right.
That challenge is really what we focus on.
Sure.
Yeah, we're all competitive, extremely competitive, and you want to win.
Right.
And whatever it is, and so you don't look necessarily night to night on winning, but every game becomes, okay, what do we need to do to win this hockey game? And that preparation and game planning, is still exciting. How to plan practice for the week, after practice meeting with the coaches and going through, and that friendship that you have and bond is magnified because of that competitiveness that we all have to be successful.
But you couldn't have dreamt when you took that job,
no,
that 500, almost 600 wins later.
No,
that and at some point you're going to look at that and be appreciative. It's hard. Again, it's hard in the middle of it, but I think
you look back more on the relationships and certain games and certain things and certain events.
Yeah, right.
But not really day to day on winning and losing. Some of the successful teams I've had isn't always the best winning record.
Sure.
It's seeing a group achieve more than you thought they could achieve.
Sure, right.
And that work ethic that they develop, and that work ethic you talk about life carrying on to their professional life, because we've had kids go on and play professional hockey, but so few. You're all going to get a job.
Right.
And one of the days after practice, we practiced that night, and I always say, you're all going to end up playing senior hockey at some point. Right. It's just some of you will get there before others. And when we walked out the one night,
some might be there next year, actually.
Yeah. There were 5 NHL players who played for the Sabres who were playing in the game afterwards. I said, all these guys play in the NHL.
Yeah.
Here they are playing men's
Senior
league on a
hockey.
Wednesday
Yeah,
night
right, yeah.
at 9:00.
Yeah.
So you'll be there.
You'll be there at some point.
Yeah.
You mentioned there are games you remember and moments you remember. What are some of those that might stick out?
Winning our first state championship,
Yeah.
winning the first Western New York championship. We were the first public school to do that.
Right.
And coming into the league, there were 8 teams, the 4 Catholic schools, 3 Winslow and Amherst. And the Catholic schools, about Senior Martin, had been playing for quite some time. So starting out, and to be able to win that first.
Don't be taking a shot at the Catholic school.
No, I won't.
Because we both wore green and gold.
Yes,
so you
we
know.
did. Yes,
Yeah, so-
yes, yep. Yeah. Some of my best friends went to Timon. But winning that first state championship, and then winning a state championship with my son, was pretty special.
Because it's personal, right?
Yeah, it was, and he grew up around North hockey and loved it and knew the kids and came out to practice and to be able to have the kids that he grew up playing hockey with, who I coach most of their youth hockey,
Sure.
and then have them on that state championship team was pretty special.
And then you also mentioned, and I think this is important, I like to ask coaches this question. There are years that you go in and you might have a sense, okay, this is a special team. Like we have a chance to do some stuff this year if we do the stuff right.
Yeah, and the most successful teams are teams that bond with one another.
Right.
They get along.
You see that in the locker room. You see that on the ice. You see it in
team first.
Yeah.
I have a bad habit of keeping kids around who don't necessarily going to play,
Right.
but they're good kids and work hard and never going to play.
Right.
And one of the kids, I said, listen, you're not going to play. Do you want to be part of this and
Sure.
practice and everything? And we were in the quarterfinals in West Genesee, and he hasn't played a shift.
Yeah.
He turns to me, he goes, I can't take this. I can't take it anymore. The stress is killing me.
Yeah, right.
I said, Sal, you're not going to play a shift.
Right, right.
Just relax. But that reaction of how important it was for
That
a
he
kid.
was that much a part of the team. Right.
Yeah, and a huge part. Everybody has a role.
Sure.
And one role isn't more important than another
Right.
role.
But how, and the other part too, you keep that kid around because he's important to the team.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Even though it's not on the ice, it's in the locker room, it's talking to other players, it's the post-game meal that you might have, and
The hanging out.
and the
being
role,
on-
the role, everybody has a role, you said, right?
Yeah, it's. I always tell a story. The part may have changed, but a Rolex watch you keep for time.
Yeah, right.
Well, if there's a small piece for $100 that breaks in your $20,000 watch, it doesn't keep time.
Yeah.
So it no longer works.
Sure.
Well, is that part more important than the whole? No, that part is just as important.
Yeah.
Because you can't keep time.
And we were chatting before about so we talked about hockey.
Yeah.
But you hockey doesn't. Well, you do play in the summer, but you don't coach in the summer. But in the summer, you're also pretty good around the golf course. So, talk about. Have you played your whole life? Did you start as a kid?
I did start as a kid. I always played at Canisius because I didn't want to do the dry land training. I wasn't great at running. My legs were not long. So I said, I can't make dry land. I got a golf match today.
Yeah.
So I played, and then
Kevin, I probably love that.
oh yeah. Well, I got lapped the first time in doing the mile
Yeah,
by the third string goalie.
with his pads on.
I don't think he did, but he might have. But after playing, I wanted to have something to compete
Sure.
at.
Yeah,
And,
right.
And I needed to get better to be able to compete at golf, and that was always a driving force. That I didn't want to play in handicap events. I wanted to play in scratch
Right.
events, and worked really hard at that.
Right, and your number of club championships at a few places, right? Westwood, you were
Westwood,
the Wizard of
CCB,
Westwood, right? Is that the nickname?
Wizard of Westwood, yeah.
And
And,
CCB and Glen Oak. And,
Glen Oak.
Yeah.
Golf is great in the friendships that I've made
Sure.
there. It's a different group, and
Right.
There is a lot of overlap of a lot of golfers who are good hockey players, and
Sure. Well, the seasons gel
Yeah.
together, right?
Fred Silver was one of my good friends, and John Gaffney. They were all great hockey players, and went and played golf. It was a natural
Right.
progression.
What advice would you give somebody who's trying to drop a few strokes from their game?
Basically, work on your short game. It's a huge part of how you get better. When you struggle hitting greens or your swings off a little bit, if you're able to get the ball up and down from 100 yards in,
Right.
you're able to be competitive and not ruin around. You look back on when Tiger Woods lost his swing, how good his short game was.
Sure, right.
People forgot about that. Short game is huge, and your body, as we age, doesn't allow you to hit
Right.
as many balls as you did.
Well, and I remember reading a book somewhere, and I'm not a good golfer by any stretch of the imagination, but the book basically said everybody goes to the driving range, but you only drive 14 times around.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And if you can cut your 3-putt to 2-putt, that's 18 strokes.
Yes.
Right?
There is the biggest improvement. How do you become a low handicap golfer? It's having a good short game.
Right.
You have to be able to hit shots and be able to manufacture a score when your swing isn't there.
So September 24th, you've got friends coming, family coming, and what are you most excited about?
Sharing it with my friends, the people that help me get to where I am.
Right.
And you don't last as long as I did without good people around you. And I've been very fortunate to have great assistant coaches. Danny Mancuso, who played for me at Canisius and then became my assistant coach. Your brother John's been with me for over 20 years. My son's coaching with me. His friends that he grew up in, and seeing that and having that has been pretty special. And to be able to share that with those people is tremendous.
So September 24th, Bob, certainly an honor that is well-deserved for your coaching career and hundreds of wins, which is, a huge number in any sport, but certainly hockey. Congratulations to you and your work on the golf course and the ice rink, and we look forward to see you with your family and friends September 24th at the Convention Center. Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks, Tom.